Hi folks, hello. I can see that, reply. It must be quite a thing to wield such power. And most people don't. Yeah. Schmicker agreed. After all, plenty of people have. I'm sure people feel a bit of that when they hold a weapon in their hands for the first time, like a rifle. Nina asked. Yeah. Maker replied. And I suppose you did feel a tingle of power when she was handed that AK-47. It was the first time in her life that she ever held something. No, was it? Let's see, did she have a pistol? It was the first time in her life that she held something. Nina had a feeling. No. Did she have a gun? The first time in her life she ever held something that was so lethal. She could have walked into some room and killed everyone before her, if she was capable of such a thing. Lucky that officer. She felt shitty enough shooting dead people earlier. You can imagine how awful it felt to take someone's life. Words to live by, Nina. Let's see, yeah. I guess it's just a matter of time now. So will you lose your powers again? Yeah, stupid overcast out there, making it dark in my room. When I'm gonna be out there later reading my Lord of the Rings book, it's probably gonna be bright sun. Bright as the fucking desert. So annoying. So will you lose your powers again when you take the base? Nina asked. Possibly. Ashmaker replied. But hopefully not. I'm pretty sure the Jade, your brethren, will take this place even without my help. My help. And the help of Houndmaster. Houndmaster created more beasts, and he willed them to. And he apparently ordered them to run around in a circular manner around himself, like a wolf, an oversized wolf pack surrounding some prey. Beasts seem sentient, intelligent as normal animals, but Nina didn't know. Perhaps their master's intelligence flowed through them. We got a man on the inside. Ashmaker said abruptly. Nina reacted. Nina, under her mask, had a look on her face like she had been abruptly booted in the butt. Booted in the butt sounds nicer in a way, I guess. I wish crepes were more popular in the United States. I'd kind of like them. I think they're probably a waste of money next to pancakes. Pancakes, you definitely get more for your buck, but crepes are usually like, the ones I've had have always been good, no matter who makes them, even in French class. Yeah, that was a pretty good snack. Look on her face like she had been abruptly booted in the ass. Fortunately, Ashmaker couldn't see it, or hear, or sense it. Ashmaster. It sounds too much like Assmaster. I should probably check it somewhere in the book to make sure I didn't accidentally call him Ashmaster. Ashmaker. Let's see. Nina suddenly felt like she was a soldier with a mission. She had to get into the base and warn everybody. She had to get back home to the base and warn her comrades that there were a spy among them. Did I have Arlen and the other guy come in with a bunch of suited bodyguards? I can't remember if I did. God's sakes, why am I so tired? All I did was have a turkey dinner for breakfast. Yeah, you know, just a little banquet dinner. I mean, God only knows if it was actually turkey in there. You know, they're all $1 each. McDonald's is more expensive than a banquet dinner now. I'm going back to the base and warn her comrades that there was a spy among them. Maybe they had already found said spy. But Nina had a feeling they didn't. Things had worked out. The spy is going to try to find this disruptor that has robbed me. Me and Houndmaster of our powers. Made us look like a couple of chumps. Maker said. There was a shadow over his face for a moment. I don't like being made to look like a chump. Here, said. Ashmaker and Nina walked away. An hour later, debut. Ashmaker walked away from the dead men. The dying soldiers at last. Their cries for help and moans were. Their crying and moaning was making it hard for a normal conversation. To take place. 5 minutes later, Maker got a buzz on his walkie-talkie, and he listened to someone's report, looking a little upset, unhappy at its conclusion. I see. Wow. Better have him keep looking. Maker said, and ended the call, looking to Nina. The man on the inside failed us. Let's see, disruptor. There's a shadow in his eyes. His eyes for a moment. There's a darkness in his eyes for a moment. My metaphorical darkness. Is that necessary to know? Failed us. He was unable to recover, find any disruptor. He claims there might not be one, but I don't know. No, I could. I don't know. If there's not one, then how did my powers abandon me? No idea, sir. He never replied. Perhaps we are granted, as people like you, are granted your powers by the gods, and they take them back sometimes just to see how you do without them. Without that touch of divinity. And she was worried suddenly. She was being a bit too wordy in conversation. She seemed overly fluent in English for a Jade. Not that the Jade had to talk like cavemen when they spoke in English or some other tongue. I was just thinking. What was I thinking? Oh yeah. Kinda wish I wrote in a kind of more Shakespearean pseudo English. Yeah, that would just add another layer of weirdness to the whole shebang. I'm also revamping how World War II played out in this universe, in the other story. I want it to be more twisty and turvy. You know, there's nothing wrong with straightforward war story. Gundam, the story from the war from that show, the first one at least, yeah, very straightforward version of World War II in space, although it's mostly the Pacific theater, but there was some stuff like a big bloody battle on Earth, Stalingrad kind of thing, island hopping in the shape of attacking space fortresses. Naturally, it ended its own unique way, but you know, there's still plenty of World War II parallels, like almost to the end of the story, and beyond. And you know, the other Gundam series kind of aped up that comparison, giving them more German-looking uniforms, making them more Germanic, oaths, loyalty, you know, Nazi stuff. It's not that oaths of loyalty are strictly a Nazi thing. I think you have to have an oath of loyalty in a lot of places. Talk like the caveman when they spoke in English or some other tongue. Legion is designed yourself as a Jade terrorist. Yeah, I already wrote that part. No idea, sir. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, possibly. Ashmaker agreed. Perhaps people like me are just some anomaly. Anomaly. How do you spell that? Thank you. Yeah. Oh. That was an A, not an O. Some people are just an anomaly on our present day. Some mutated gene or some mutated gene somewhere in our bodies. And in a generation, there won't be any superhumans anymore. We'll be like some bad dream everybody had. It's possible. Nina agreed. For a long time, there were no superhumans, at least as far as we know. There was a great gap of them not existing from about the time the ancient world till 2870 of the old calendar. Yeah, I like this tip of the iceberg stuff. Just kind of vague talking, you know. I'm going to maybe delete some explanations I had in some other story to, you know, because you probably don't need to, because the imagination of the reader is probably better than, anything I could come up with to explain, like, the Goblin Wars, or, what's the example from Star Wars? The Clone Wars. That was just mentioned briefly in the Star Wars original story. Then they decided to expand into a huge kaboom prequel trilogy, TV series, all that stuff. It's become like the World War I of Star Wars. I guess that's the right term. If the war from Star Wars, the original trilogy, is World War II, then this is like... Then you definitely have to call that World War I. I'm sure there's plenty of parallels that anybody, even people who aren't historians, would probably notice. Let's see, where am I? Gotta get to some action. Maybe some superhuman nullifying our powers. Make her guess. Then ask Nina, do you have any idea what a powered nullifier even looks like? Because I don't. Yeah, mumbled. Unsure if powered nullifiers, aka disruptors, were something she knew about. A Jade terrorist would be briefed on, knowledgeable about. Her conversation with Ashmaker was abruptly interrupted by some big commotion about the perimeter. There were many soldiers, Jade soldiers, running about. Houndmaster dispersed his hounds, sent his hounds home, and ran over to Ashmaker, accompanied by some Jade officer carrying a briefcase, carrying two briefcases. Briefcase in one hand, and some small radiation detector like device in the other. It was a fancy thing, piece of equipment with a reading detector, fancy green screen all lit up, and a lot of knobs and dials. On the top was some antennae shaped thing. Not a gangly antennae, but one of those fat ones, boxy ones. But like a miniature version of those fat, boxy radar detectors from the last World War, World War III. The waning years of it. at least. Well, let's see, waning, is that right? I might have had those at the start of that World War, you know, different technology and stuff. It's a problem with writing in your own fictional universe. It can be a little daunting to keep track of this and that. What's going on? Ashmaker asked, feeling a little dread. A little dread in his voice. Dominique Richington is on her way here. The Jade officer replied in English. Oh, that's great news for the bad guys. You know, a real good writer would make you feel fearful for every character, even the bad guys. So, I mean, sometimes it's still bad to see a bad guy get killed off, you know? Especially if he was a likable one. Unbelievable. No water. And still, I guess I'm feeling the symptoms of drinking too much energy drink, which is dehydration. Better that than the other things like heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure. Well, I don't know if high blood pressure, but I assume you would get something like that if you drink too much energy drink. Especially the real potent ones. I'll have to explain in English. That is unfortunate. Fortunate news. Ashmaker replied with a voice and look like some doctor. They just told him he had a disease, a terminal disease, and had 6 months to live. More like 6 minutes. Or less. You know, supposed. It was seen floating or flying or whatever over the mountains, passes. Ashmaker noted. The Jade officer noted. So what do we do? Common Master asked. Ashmaker. I guess we get our defenses ready. Sager replied, sounding a little more hopeful. All of a sudden. I mean, we still have our powers. And she isn't invincible, despite what people say. Ashmaker looked to AA guns. She's been driven off by conventional weaponry. Things like that. Maker said, make sure the guns are manned and fired. And open up on her. Open up on her on sight. We'll probably only have one chance to take her out. We're not gonna take her out. Our master muttered. This is it. The wrath of the gods upon us. Maybe. Agreed. Seemed to agree. Driving through Buffalo the other day. Lovely city. I'm not saying that sarcastically. Really like all the old buildings and stuff. Drove through the bad side of town. Didn't run into any trouble. It's unfortunate how run down some parts of the city are. Perhaps someday people use the term Buffalonic when they refer to, like, urban blight. But I think the urban blight in other cities are a lot more troublesome because there's a lot of violence as well. I don't know how we're doing with the crime statistics in Buffalo, but there's been some. There hasn't been any major incidents. Nothing on like Chicago's level, I guess. Just the usual problems of big city living, I guess. You know, crime and urban city, like, you know. There's like, what do you call it? Oh yeah. Drug addiction, opium crisis, joblessness, desperation. Our population is like 1/10 of it was at the turn of the century. Whereas once almost 500,000 people living in Buffalo, and now it's like a ghost town. You'd think Chernobyl had happened outside our door. It's so deserted. But it's coming back, I guess. Everybody sees a rebound. Everybody gets a rebound eventually, you know? Maybe. I shrugged. I hope you're pleased. Houndmaster muttered, giving Ashmaker a stink eye all of a sudden. Stink eye, that's a phrase I wish would get more use in other countries. Yeah. They should adopt it. The stink eye. I think they call it the evil eye in other countries, you know. But stink eye doesn't necessarily mean evil. Yeah. I've given the stink eyes to plenty of people when I was just annoyed and not plotting to murder them, like you'd think the term evil eye would mean. Make me think of Sauron from Lord of the Rings. I hope you're pleased, man. It's nice guy all the time. About what? Make her ass, clearly sounding annoyed. Well, you wanted revenge, a chance to fight her, to get revenge for her leaving you in the Pacific. Master clarified, noted. So now you get your chance. Now you get to live out that fantasy. Out your dream. Just before I die. I suppose. Schmaker chuckled, noted, muttered, and looked to Nina. We'll continue our conversation. Conversation later. You better get out of here. Ashmaker said. Right. He replied and made a run for it. Along with that Jade officer. That Jade officer with the briefcase. And walkie-talkie and scanner following her. Maker supposed. Ashmaker psyched himself up for the fight. He just wondered if Dummy would come swinging right off the bat, or she'd issue some ultimatum. Ashmaker supposed, as a gentleman, he was obligated to let Dummy get the first swing in, even if it was. Okay, folks, 29 minutes in, signing off here. Wish I could show you more, but sorry. Have a nice day.